Stop believing the lies of the enemy, the lies of what your mama, your daddy, your cousin, your sister told you, the lies of those that you thought loved you, but they didn't. And really learn who you are in God. Because we live in a society, in a time where everybody looks the same, everybody has the same aesthetic, everybody has the same luxury lifestyle, everybody is into the same thing, there really aren't a lot of voices that talk about what it means to embrace the insecurities or what we may feel are our insecurities and really just be content with who we are. So the root of my insecurities is at the foundation of not having a father figure in my life. For the longest, I know who my biological father is, but he wasn't around much. And so a lot of the traits that a man brings into a little girl's life, I didn't have that. I also grew up not seeing a lot of healthy men around me, meaning men that are emotionally in tune with themselves and with those around them. And so they know how to treat women, they know how to talk to women, they know how to give a level of assurance to a woman. Coming into who I am as a woman has been a very interesting journey, and I struggled a lot with self-image. I struggled a lot with not loving myself, and I made a lot of poor decisions, especially in my teen to early 20s, particularly with men, because I thought that if I gave them something, if I, kind of chameleoned my personality, that would make them love me, and obviously that was not true. And so a lot of the insecurities that I dealt with was because I had a lot of those father wounds growing up, and not knowing what it really felt like to be loved, truly loved by a man. And it's so important for me to come on here as myself, and what that looks like for me is some days I don't feel like putting on makeup, some days I don't have my hair done, and I'm in a season where my hair is not done in the way that normally I would get it, and so I'm rocking my natural puff. Some days I don't feel like doing some things to myself, and so I'm learning how to really just embrace who God has created and called me to be, because I feel like I want to be a big sister or a cousin or whatever to somebody that comes across this video, to know that you don't have to look like the influencers, you don't have to look like the IG baddies. If anything, you're not meant to look like them. You're meant to look like who God created and called you to look. Instead of me saying that I have an insecurity or you have an insecurity, I say that this is just something that God made me to have, made me to be. If that may be, I don't have the best skin, or my hair isn't a certain texture, or I have this or that within my body, or even how life has went for me when it comes to achieving certain things. At the end of the day, my life is my life, your life is your life, and the way we look, the way we feel, all of that is going to be rooted in how content we are with ourselves. So one of the first things that I used to struggle with a lot was my hair. Being a black woman, I used to really struggle with understanding who I was. I was never black enough for black people, but I was never white enough for white people. And so I always kind of walked this fine line of never really fitting in with black people or white people, because when it came to black people, I wasn't hood enough, because I articulated myself, or my interests were just different than the average black person, which I don't believe that we all have to have the same experience and even interest because we're of the same race. I really struggled with trying to find that sisterhood, because I would see how black women would treat each other. It would be nice, nasty, and rude, and gossiping, and this, that, and the third. And of course that happens in all races, but I'm speaking from an experience as a black woman. And then as I got more so into university, this is when the racism and the prejudice came, because I was a black woman. I went to a PWI, which stands for a predominantly white institution. I got my master's and my bachelor's from both of PWIs. So I also navigated being treated sometimes unfairly because I was a black woman. And I did have black and white friends. I've always been a person that I just really appreciate one's culture, and so I was always open to just hanging out with different people and learning about what their upbringings looked like. And so when you think about quote unquote little insecurities, it's not always just how you look. It's really how you feel about yourself and the things that you're willing to and not to accept when it comes to how other people treat you. With me having this kind of weird dynamic of being not black enough but still not white enough, there was always this like uniqueness about me that I just couldn't understand. In some ways I still can't fully understand, and I feel like a lot of the women that I'm called to just build a community for, you are that same type of woman where it's like, I don't really fit in with this group or that group or that group. I'm just me, and I'm content with being me. And I just really feel like in a society now where certain images are being pushed, we need some people to be content with who they are. I hated my hair. I hated my skin sometimes because, I just felt like my skin wasn't, as smooth as I wanted to be, or I had a little acne here, a little acne there, or, at the time, my teeth was something that I really struggled with before I got braces and stuff, and just different things. And so I say these examples to say that we all struggle with different things. I even had the insecurity of not having my dad in my life. I've always been around people that were kind of the middle upper class. One thing that a lot of these people had in common that I didn't was that they had their dads. They had, that foundation of what it means to be daddy's little girl. And I didn't have that. And so, I always felt like something was wrong with me, because I'm like, man, like, why am I always the chick with the kind of traumatic story, if you will? And it was just some things that I just couldn't relate to, and they couldn't relate to when it came to the story that I walked out. I want to take a moment to encourage whoever comes across this video to embrace who you are, even the things that you may find unpretty, if you will, or things that are not aesthetic and things that are not what the world or what culture or society says it's supposed to be. Even if you're black, you don't have to go for everything that black people say we're supposed to go for. Same thing with white people, whatever it is. I think we're coming to a time where God is wanting you to be what He created you to be. That is how you dress, how you style your hair, how you talk, your experience. He wants us to truly embrace all of the parts of us, even those things that are kind of ugly, things that we don't really like to share with people. And I'm not saying you need to go out there and just spew your business out to the world, but I am saying that you need to embrace who you are, because everything that God has allowed you to walk through is making you into the man or the woman of God that He has called and created you to be. And what you have, other people don't. Just imagine that there's 8 billion people in the world, but there's only one you. And even with the insecurities and the flaws and us thinking that there's always somebody richer, somebody prettier, somebody this, that, and the third, they got insecurities, you know what I'm saying? So I think that it's important to just take the time to encourage you guys as women, as young people that are trying to find yourselves, to say, learn how to love yourself. Learn how to be content with yourself. Learn how to be content with where you are in life, and really heal from the things that hurt you. It took a long time. In some ways, it'll probably take a lifetime for me to be okay with the fact that there's just some things I won't never get to experience because time has passed and, things have come and gone. But that doesn't mean that my story is over, right? It's all about how you rewrite your story. And there is a mindset shift that needs to take place when you learn how to embrace what you may feel like is an insecurity. And really that mindset shift, in my opinion, is going to start by you sitting at the feet of Jesus. There are some wounds that there's only so much therapy that you can get. It's really going to be God that's going to help bind up that wound for you so that you can begin to move forward into the things that He has for you. And even when you have triggers and you have things that may come up where it's like, man, like that one reminded me of this situation or that, or how I didn't like this about myself, God will still help you to get up and move on past it. So embrace your beauty, embrace what you were meant to be in the Lord, embrace how you look, how you feel, and even where you are in your life, and know that God is the author and the finisher of your faith. And you may have not had a dad like me. You may have not had a mom. You may have not had some things that you felt like you deserved or you needed in life, but you can get all of those things from Jesus. He can be your mother. He can be your father. Now, attribute-wise, God is, masculine, but I'm saying for the sake of filling those voids. And it's hard. It's not an easy journey, but it's possible, because everything is possible with Jesus Christ. And the things that you may feel is ugly, God still finds it beautiful, because He is the only one that can make a masterpiece out of what we deem to be a mess. So until next time, try to make the world a better place today.